Oh, this bloom is ending and I already see this. That's awesome. This one's in bloom. But oh my gosh, 1 and 2. Oh my goodness, double spike. Super exciting. This is the one that got the thrips in March, I want to say, but she's okay. She looks a little messed up, but obviously she's okay. She's spiking again. That's so exciting. The next one, so this is why I wanted to do this video, because this is beautiful, but what is happening here? A second spike, and then what is that little thing? It can't be a root up there. What is that? I can't believe it's a third spike. I can't believe that. I'm checking everywhere just in case so I can, yeah, 1, 2, 3. I can't believe it. This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh, here's another. Now this one just finished blooming, so I'm not expecting anything. And this one, these are the only 2 that I don't have a spike or, and oh, look at this. Yay. I'm so excited. I am so excited. These Vandas are loving it here. Yeah, so I'll show you. This is north facing, so they get that kind of sun, and they're right at the edge of the patio, so they're getting a lot. These are my don't look at the mess, but these are my, oh my goodness, Mimi Palmers that I got in a bundle. So I'm gonna start lowering them a little bit so I could see if there's any good news like the other ones. And out here in my ICU Macara section, oh, that's the Violetta. She's doing good. She's doing good. I have to get a ladder to see if there's any spikes. But they were almost dead, almost given to me. And there we have a bloom, beautiful yellow color. I didn't even know what flower they had. And this one's blooming. And this one, when I got it, it was in bloom. So I guess they're all gonna be yellow. But this one's loving that tree. So it's a nice gloomy, it was like 100 degrees a little while ago. But now it's super overcast. It rained, everything is wet. And this is the area for the new orchid home. They already delivered the pergola. Now we have to wait for them to come and build it, but it's gonna go right here to the edge. This is where the Vandas are. So this whole area, hopefully very soon, is going to be the new orchid home. Yay! Over here I have the Schomburgkia, or possibly Mercophylla. I don't even know. Some people say it's the same name, that it didn't change. Some people say that it did change for all of them. Some people say for some. So I'm gonna call them both names to make my life even more complicated. But I'm happy to, this was from David from Morningside. Is it called Morningside? Yeah, Morning Dove. Okay, and I just wanted to show you, look at all those new roots. So she's doing really, really good. I got her for a really good price, mounted. And it's a pretty simple mount that you can just, you know, go to Home Depot, get some wood, or go wherever, go to the backyard, get some wood, get some pine from a tree, some bark. It has completely attached itself. And when I first got it, this was a tiny little new growth, and now look at that. And it has even more. It has one, it has, let me get down under here, there's another new growth. There's another new growth. There's another one back there. I mean, new growths galore. At first, I realized I gave her a little bit of a sunburn. I had her getting too much sun in the afternoon, and now I moved her, and she likes this spot. This is also new. Look at this. That's pretty new. So I'm super happy with it. Super happy. I don't know if this still has any like juice in it, but I fertilize it anyway with my own thing because I don't know if this is worn off or what the deal is. But anyways, yeah. Thanks, Dave. It is still going strong. I need to get me another one of these. And this is what I finally ended up doing. I have some rocks, some leca, some charcoal, some bark. And I basically had to use what I had. I wasn't going to go buy a whole new, more media for just this one plant. But this is the one that was looking like it was rotting. Someone had said put it in water for a little bit to dehydrate. Already I'm surprised how the leaves are standing up straighter. Remember, I had them in these cups with a little bit of water for just like a day and a half, and now I potted them in clay because most of my cats are in clay and they like it. So let's see. This is like experiment over here. I didn't want to cut anything off. Like at first I thought of cutting this off, and then I said, you know what, leave it until it needs to come off. But already I see that the leaves are standing up, the new growths are looking good. So I'll let you know how it goes. So far so good. And by the way, thank you for all the comments, all the help, all the tutorials, all the instructions, all the ideas, because like I have to keep on saying, I am a super newbie and I have no idea. That doesn't exist, but for me it does. Super newbie, and I'm learning every day. It's like an experiment. Like Nelson said, it's like I'm a doctor and I'm taking care of my patients here, and you know, sometimes I talk to them and I tell them, you're doing so well, keep growing. So I'm a psychologist too. A surgeon when I have to cut them apart and cut off the dead roots. So you know, it's a whole form of caretaking. I love it. You know, as a teacher, I take care of the students, and now I am enjoying taking care of the plants. So right before I go, and here's some other cats, but right before I go, I wanted to show you this plant because I think it deserves some kind of a mention. And I'll tell you, I got it from Whimsy Orchids. His name is Bill, and he has basically in his backyard, there's a sign right in front of Redlands Fruit and Spice Park, and there's a sign that says for the orchid collector or something like that. It's a little sign. It's very obscure. You think, what is this? But it says Whimsy Orchids. So if you want to look it up, they're on Google, so you can find them like that. And I went there completely unsuspecting, just thinking, okay, it's like another farm. It's not. It's this man's private, gorgeous collection of just about everything. And I got it, I want to say in May. And since May, I just put it in here because he gave it to me bare root. That's what he does. He gives cuttings of what he has. And if they're in bloom, great. If they're not, they're not. So I kind of took this, you know, with my eyes closed. Look at the size. I'm going to put my hand next to it so you can see what we're talking about. We're talking about huge, super strong leaves. And look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 new growths. I'm super excited with it. I'm so happy. I didn't realize that I can go to somebody's home and for, honestly, it was $25. For $25, get this huge cutting. It's huge. I plan to go back there and definitely find some other things, because I mean, once you see, the proof is in the pudding. Once you buy something and this happens, you're like, oh my gosh, wow. And I'm a beginner and I don't really know what I'm doing with fertilizing. I'm experimenting at this point, but literally so much new growth. This wasn't there. This wasn't there. These four were not there. Completely new growths from May to now. And this is like, this one alone is like 12 inches tall. So, I mean, this is a really healthy plant. You have, sometimes you get plants and you're like, whatever. They'll survive. And then you get this. So this is kind of like chapter 3 to my previous 2 videos. I don't know. My opinion is I like to get a deal. I mean, this was a crazy, crazy good deal. But at the same time, I think if you're a newbie, if you're a beginning grower slash collector, I guess, then you really want to go for a plant that is established. And I know who I heard say this, and this is like the very knowledgeable Nelson from Nature Nell. And I'm telling you, he said it once, and yeah, I went one in one ear and out the other, and I was like, But now I'm starting to live it, and I'm starting to see, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of truth to that. You want to get plants that are thriving already, you know. Even if you're not a newbie, it's night and day. If something happens to it, if it gets some kind of insect, if it gets a sunburn or whatever, but it's established and it's a healthy plant, it'll survive. Now, on the other hand, you get a seedling, any little thing that happens, it may not survive. It probably won't survive. So is it worth the risk? So I've gotten a lot of bag babies, and it's been basically 80% good, and maybe a couple look a little scrawny, but again, they're $16. So for that, yeah, it's worth the risk. But if you're gonna go and get a $50 plant that is still small, I don't know. I'd rather go and get a healthy plant like this one. And by the way, I'll show you the tag. He wrote it, but I had to write over it because I was thinking he wrote it in pencil. That's gonna erase. BLC apricot Dior. It's fancy. So yeah, there it is. So I just thought a little chat to kind of end my little 3-part. Should you buy big plants, little plants, baby plants, old plants? I sound like a Dr. Seuss book. But yeah, and one little quick mention to my little experiment. I had this given to me by a student. I put it in a pot, and I did not, this is one of the ones I did not cut the stem, and look what happened. It sent out a secondary spike, and it is blooming beautifully. Look at that, perfect. And I have the fans on, so it's getting a lot of circulation. So wow, there you have it. In hindsight, I should have maybe cut it down a little bit because it seems so long, and then you have, you know, here are the blooms at the end. But still, basically 4 months ago this bloomed, and now it's blooming again. So I don't know, I guess some people, I'm still in between. Maybe cutting the spike will produce a lot more blooms that look healthier and bigger. That's what I've heard, but I guess I will see, because the other ones that I cut down are healthy, but they're not blooming. So something to think about. So here we have my Phalaenopsis Bellina wild form, and it's supposed to look kind of like with wider leaves than a normal phal. I think because they were selling these young ones. The seller said that it could bloom within, by the way, this was from the Redlands Orchid Festival back in, was it May? Yeah, I think it was May, mid-May. So the seller had said, yes, within a year this can bloom. But here's my worry. Oh, and he also said, since it's small and it came with spag, maybe you want to put some sphagnum moss, and it has bark underneath and it has some spag on top. And basically I don't see any growth. I have fed it, I have watered it, I have cleaned the leaves, I have given it nice sun. I think this leaf came like this. and it's still like this. So what's going on? Is this the slowest growing orchid ever? Or am I just becoming impatient because I see growth everywhere else? If anybody knows, please let me know, because I don't know. I already took her out of here, and I'm gonna talk louder because the planes are coming by. I already took her out of here and the roots look fine. And I didn't want to do that, but someone had said, just check the roots, check the roots. I did, and I'm using my thingamabob to see if it's wet or dry, so I'm not uprooting her all the time. But this baby looks like she didn't pass preschool. She has to repeat preschool because yeah, she hasn't grown big enough. So I don't know, let me know. So here's an example. These two were similar sized. These were similar sized. Yeah, I don't know. This is a Paphiopedilum that I also bought from the same, from the same orchid festival. This leaf was like this, but look at the size. This one looks huge. And then this back growth was barely there. And now she looks like almost two plants in one. And this seems to be another growth. So she keeps on growing. And I saw a video that they like to be a little wetter than other types. So I saw this idea. I hope you guys can tell me if this is a good idea or not. But she's not in the water. Okay, she's not in the water. I just watered her, that's why this is still wet. But this is, I guess, humidity that's available from down there. So I don't know. At first I had put her in too much sun and she let me know, so I moved her back here. But yeah, look at the size. They were, I have a picture of them next to each other. These are the two. I know, I'm talking like if they're people. I bought, these are my two first purchases. I always wanted a Phalaenopsis bellina, and I always wanted to try Paphiopedilum. I don't have any. I don't even know what to do with it when it finally opens, but when it finally blooms. But I had to try it. I wanted to grab those two, and they were similar size. This one is tiny still, and this one is multiplying like crazy. So anyways, that's the update on those.